one thing that I wanted to add on with Blossom as well is about trans male erasure. I concur.
I don't think it's ever been there. Erase it from where? We don't even have it yet.
Yeah, and I see that happen, unfortunately, far too often with folks who've done work even in different mediums and different forms, different businesses. They've kind of been erased after a certain point of their work, and it's been kind of sad to see that, and that's why I've been really intentional about specifically bringing trans mass folks and icons like yourself, so you can tell your story, how we can really help with that visibility. Because I mean, Blossom, the only way that I feel like we can do it is moments like this podcast and really telling folks stories. Because as he said, and as you know, there's no visibility for trans men in the way that folks assume that there is. I mean, there's some media things that are happening.
I was just about to ask you about that.
Yeah,
actually.
there's a few things that happen in media and a few, influencers that popped up on TikTok. But in terms of resources, we've got nothing at the end of the day. And a lot of the work that I've seen, many different trans mask individuals just completely erased for some whatever reason, patriarchal structures, et cetera, that we're fighting. So my question to you is, how do you think that we as a community can learn to express, again, better ways to fight the patriarchy? Because I feel like as trans men, we live in this weird world where it's like we have access to male privilege when we go to the liquor store. The guy is like, hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? But at the same time, when we go into spaces like jobs or actual equitable spaces where we have to be known as who we are fully, we lose all that privilege. So where do you feel that we can address that? And then how do you feel about that? And have you experienced that as well? I know it's a lot of questions.
Okay, Shane.
Listen, I want wisdom from you, because I want, the younger generation to actually hear, because you've really been there at the beginning when everything was forming. And there's this conversation that the T should be separated from LGBT. And what you said earlier just proves the reason why LGBT is together is because we were able to consolidate power. That's why ACT UP happened. So again, it's a lot there to answer, but I'll give you the floor to let it go on whichever subject you wanted to jump in on.
Well, I think the T has always been there, and you want to keep it there. And that's why I do like using the Q. I just don't go on to the alphabet more than that, but that only also represents me, because I am a straight trans man. So you have to explain that to people. So, yes, my gender is male, but that has not changed my sexuality, which is that I am attracted to women, and getting people to understand that, it's no different than a gay man who transitions. No, he's not a lesbian. He's a man. Yeah. Therefore, he's a gay man. It doesn't change or make your transition ridiculous. Your sexuality and your gender are so different. But so I think that's important, and I think it's important to be inclusive, because when you keep dividing and dividing, is how we lose power, which is the whole power structure, which is, taking these playbooks from fascist communities.
Ooh, thank you.
And they're doing that because of what you do. Ooh. You divide and you divide, and you push one person against the other, which is classic of what's going on in this country now, which has gone on many times. And in this country, just in the 1940s, if people would know their history, which is very important.
History repeats itself.
Right. And if you think about the way the Nazis did it, first they came in and took out all of the trans and queer people.
Exactly what we're seeing today. That's literally why I wrote this book.
It's the easiest to start with. Then they moved on. I am a trans Jew, so I get it on all sides. Now, the other thing is what you were asking about, like business and stuff. One thing is my art, and that's my focal point. And that's why also with like Transfigure, where the whole thing was like, cutting it up into like a children's playbook, because the point is, you don't even know what you're discriminating against. Try to line up these bodies.
Yeah.
In fact, people with me even in front of them, and that book, I was lucky that both of, of all the trans work that I've done, and again, I'm representing myself, because hopefully, I'm speaking about an entire community. when I did all the work with sex workers and the book, Market Street Cinema. Hopefully I'm speaking for all of the women, but, to have that voice, there isn't, I think that people are prejudiced because they don't know. Now, I think there are places for people to know and places for them not to know. I have this conversation, debate a lot with my friends of like, well, if you're a man, just be a man. And then why would you even tell anybody that you're trans? I mean, the whole point is to be a man and you're a man. And so, I think there's only two places that I am vocal about that. And I'll tell you why. Okay, so one, and I've been married and divorced 3 times and then a fiance. I think I'm good in that department. I apparently am not good there. So one, though, would be with a sexual partner, of course, I mean, even for a one-night stand, of course. The next one would be with my artwork and getting a message across. Because again, that's my vehicle. That's my activism. That's the way I believe that. I believe in equality. I've always fought, I was raised an activist, by my parents, Jews, so like, there's that. Now, when it comes to my business or just walking down the street or whatever, nobody needs to know I'm trans, and nobody needs to know that I'm trans with my cannabis company, because it's none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with me being the best at picking out the best weed, hunting down the best mushrooms, hunting down the best chocolate edibles.
Come on.
Hunting down the best vape pens so we can pull one
Not
out
providing
right
the
now.
plug. The plug is now available on Transparency Podcasts.
Right.
Are we interviewing the plug?
We're going to pass these little suckers around for everybody. Stickers for everybody. But anyways, that's because it's supposed to be a
by the way.
No, seriously, this is for everybody. Feel free to pass those around.
Yes.
All the people that come in. But so I mean that in the way that because I don't want that to color every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very important, and that's why I do the artwork that I do. That's why I'm so blessed that, of the 3 films, one about when I was in the prison system that I was blessed enough to do with Cheryl Denier and Angela Davis. In fact, it's mainly just me and Angela Davis in the film. It's a short, but that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I have really long, I naturally have blonde hair. I told a partner a long time ago, I go, oh, yeah, well, I have blonde hair. And she's like, dude, if you looked in the mirror, you have gray hair. You don't have blonde hair. I was like, what?
Age just creeped up on you, right? You're like, oh, shit.
What? You're kidding me. Shit.
Love it.
But in that aspect, it's important. But for me as a business person, people should know, like, that doesn't ruin my life. I'm still an intelligent person. I'm still whatever I am.
Yeah.
I'm a business person. I'm an artist. I'm in healthcare, important things. I'm a teacher. I'm a professor.
Yeah.
That should not just be like, oh, this is your identity. And that's why I think we lose a lot of power. Just like when we were, coming out, the whole thing, which was also, when we were in New York and so I was living there. But, that's when Queer Nation was there and everything, and the whole idea of outing. Now, forced outing is not cool, but I do believe that's the same way with trans people. So, yes, I'm trans. That's amazing. Great. And I also, just built this cool-ass fucking electric car that's going to take over the world.
Yeah.
You can get to be both things, I'm, like I said, because I'm an activist and all, and I'm an artist, you choose to, and I've always chosen to use that platform. In fact, at first people weren't making the connection that Leon Mostovoy was Tracy Mostovoy. So I changed everything, and I don't have it on my website now. Well, I do in the first paragraph and stuff. was I had to read everything because and that's when I first got like a lot more like people coming out and being like, oh my God, wait, you're Tracy, the one who's already had so many publications, but as feminist, as act up, as a lesbian erotic photographer was my main thing that I was
because you had an identity
on our
as a
backs.
butch lesbian before you came
it
out,
was,
and there was a lot of
lesbian
activism
and and it was all about like,
and people knew you from that as well.
They knew me really well from On Our Backs.
Yeah, I really want to ask this question. How do you feel about people who are not transmasculine fetishizing of transmasculine bodies? You know, and I think it's really important that I ask this, especially for those that are watching this that are not transmasculine. Like, what are your thoughts around that?
You mean people that are doing it as for themselves because they want to look like that, or people that are fetishizing for
I feel like
a sex
people that are
object?
doing it just to be annoying and just to kind of I'm trying to figure out how to say it. Just fetishizing the bodies of transmasculine people. You know, I have a firm belief that we as trans people, we're not caricatures.
Right.
But we are treated like characters to cis people. And although I'm not a transmasculine person, I'm really curious to know what that experience looks like in the transmasculine community and like, what are your thoughts around that?
I think that, you know, it's very much this, I don't know if it still is. Again, I'm very much older and I came out a long time ago and they were still like very strict. It was very much like my friend Max Valerio wrote Testosterone Files, which was the first big book about it.